It's time for the interview. It's time for breakthrough. If you're ready for next level blessings, abundance, and prosperity, then it's time to tune in to the interview with your girl, Trish M. Hey, fabulous ladies. Hey, it's your girl, Trish M. And did you know that I own a boutique? Yes, ladies, yes. Check out Trish M Boutique today and use code PODCAST to get 25% off the total order. Go to www.trishmfashions.com. That's Trish M Fashions with an S.com. And don't forget, use code PODCAST to get 25% off.
We are in a series called From Good to Great. Y'all working on your greater? Yeah. We should always be working on our greater, amen? So we got a few people still working on greater. And I'm excited about greater. Y'all know greater can be frustrating. Oh, baby. Greater can be hard. Greater can be frustrating. Greater can be trying. And greater can make you want to forget about greater sometimes. Let's be real. Let's be honest, right? Because there are things that you have to do to be greater. And it requires sacrifice. It requires your time. It requires your attention. It requires so much. So greater can be greater make you want to punch it in the mouth sometimes. But we do what we got to do because we desire it, right? So as I was meditating on good to great, God just kept giving me Noah. And as God was giving me Noah, he gave me this title to give to the people. I need me a Noah. God said it. Hashtag, where you at? I need me a Noah. This is a prophetic message. This is what God is saying to you in this hour. I need me a Noah. I need me a Noah. See, it's going to register in a minute what exactly that means. Be like, God, what that mean? What you requiring of me? Watch this. God is saying in this hour, this season, we are in the times of Noah. Come on, somebody. We are in the times of Noah. And God is saying, because you're in the same time as Noah, he said, I want to know where the Noah's at that's going to rise up like a Noah did in the time of Noah. Come on, y'all. He's saying, I need me a Noah. Because what does that mean? We are in a season and a time of shift and transition from good to great. Even though it's chaotic in the world, God is saying you're in a season and a time of transition, a time of shifting. And if you don't recognize the sign and the time and the season, you're going to miss it. And as I was looking at transition, he said you're in a time and a season where there is movement, there is passage, there is change. You're going from one thing to another, one state to another, one mindset to another. Come on, somebody. Yeah. One mindset to another. And he's saying in this season and time of Noah, there has to be a transition. There has to be a transition. Listen. A lot of y'all think transition as in I got to move. No, you got to move mentally.
Come on.
Your mind got to change for your life to change. So as a man thinketh, so is he. You got to first move mentally so that you can move physically, so you can move relationally, so that you can move. See, you got to understand, God said, I need me a Noah, but understand that Noah had to move mentally before he could move in any other way. I need me a Noah. This is what the Lord is saying. I need me a Noah. See, watch this. God gave me this nugget. He said Noah was in a season of transition, but the time had not married it. He had to become engaged to the process. Come on, somebody. Listen. He was in a season of transition, but the time had not married season. So before time could marry season, he had to become engaged to the process. Come on, somebody. What did that mean? When time and season have not met up and married yet, because before marriage there has to be an engagement. And in an engagement, you got to court something. You got to date something. So Noah had to date process. My goodness. My goodness. Noah had to date process. And so in dating process, it took time for him to get married to next level. Listen, y'all ain't working with me. They say I'm on some other level. Y'all ain't here. I'm here, but I ain't here. Y'all got to flow with me because God is speaking to you prophetically that you are supposed to be engaged to process that might hurt your feelings, that might frustrate you, that might get you somewhere. Come on, somebody, that is positioning you to greater. But sometimes being engaged to process don't feel good. Sometimes being engaged to process don't look good, and it don't even sound good. You mean to tell me I got to build a boat for 100 years before I get to it? I got to get engaged. See, his engagement was 100 years. Y'all ain't ready for this. His engagement to process was over 100 years. So he was in a season of transition. Season had married time. And in the middle of that, there was an engagement where he had to put in the work. Come on, look at your husband and say, put in the work, baby. Uh-oh. Now, husband, look at your wife and say, put in the work, baby. Because guess what? It worked both ways. It go both ways. So listen, you got to put in the work when you're engaged to process. You got to put in the work when you're engaged to process. We are in a season of transition, and God is saying, I need me a Noah for such a time as this. Someone who can handle transition. My goodness. Someone who can handle transition. Someone who can handle shift. Someone who can handle next level. Someone who can handle the work. Because it's going to take work in the shift. It's going to take work in the transition. He said, I need someone who can handle the transition. He said, someone who can shift when I shift. Do what I do. Do what I say. Pray and seek my face in this time and season and this hour. Because while you engage to the process, I'm here to tell you, you're going to have to pray and fast like you done lost your mind. Come on. Because what Noah was building was so big. Come on, somebody. This thing was so much bigger than him. And because it was huge, it was next level, it was transition, he had to pray and he had to fast. He had to constantly be before God. Now, God, how long? How wide? How many nails? How many screws? He had to constantly be hearing God. Come on, y'all. You can't go into transition without hearing God, because you might be transitioning into something that God never called you to. So you may be in a season of transition, but it ain't time, and then you're not married to the process and praying and fasting and looking at God in that process. You might transition into something that be not of God, but it looked like God. It sounded like God. It seemed like God. Well, is it? Then you start being like, well, is it really God? So God said, I need me a Noah. I need me a Noah. Noah was a mighty man that found favor when the world had gone astray. What did I tell y'all? Y'all stay with me because it's a prophetic message. The world has gone astray. We are in a time and a season of Noah. People are losing their mind. They're sinning harder than they've ever sinned before. The church, the seats are emptier than they've ever been before. Nobody is praying like they used to, fasting like they used to. They got an excuse as to why they can't see God. Listen, we are in a time and a season of Noah like never before. All you got to do is look around. Come on. Look around. See, I ain't come to play with y'all today. I'm coming to give you this word that God has given me, because there is something that God is looking for you, for me, and for everybody. Everybody. See, Noah found favor when everybody else was going astray. You see, Noah he had the favor, but watch this. In the name of the pandemic, in the name of COVID, not in the name of Jesus, in the name of COVID, people are running from God and not running to. Come on, somebody. In the name of COVID, you get more divorce rates in this season than you've ever gotten before. In the name of COVID, come on, somebody. The world is going crazy. We are in a time and a season of Noah. People are running away from intimacy, away from the presence and power of God. And they're more into worldly things than they are into godly things. The world is in a transition, and God is saying, I need me a Noah that can still chase hard after me. Yes. We're going somewhere, y'all. Genesis 6, we in the ESV. Some of y'all that's who is Noah? I don't know no Noah. Who is Noah? The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So the Lord said, I will blot out man, who I created from the face of the land, men and animals and creeping things and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I made them. But Noah, somebody say Noah? Noah. Found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Where my Noah's at? Come on, represent Noah's. Represent Noah. Don't be afraid to say, I'm getting my favor. I'm getting my favor. Y'all can be crazy if you want to, but I'm getting my favor. Y'all gotta act like y'all lost y'all mind. You can speak to the world and say, y'all can go crazy if y'all want to, but I'm getting my favor. Okay? They can go crazy, but you gotta have the mindset you getting your favor. But Noah, my mind, found favor in the eyes of the Lord. For behold, he said, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which the breath of life under heaven, everything that is on the earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark. You, watch this, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives. But that's it. There are limits in your transition. Wow. See, you got to understand that. Let me stop. You got to understand that God will put you in a season of transition, but he will also limit you in your transition. Wow. Noah was charged to build an ark. We see this in Genesis 6 and 22. He said, Noah did this. He did all. Somebody say all. All that God commanded him. We go to Hebrews 11 and 7. But it said he did this how? How did he do it? By faith. So he said, by faith Noah, being warned by God about things not yet seen, in reverence prepared an ark for the salvation of his household, by which he condemned the world, became an heir of the righteousness which is according to faith. And we look into Genesis 7 for the sake of time. I'm not going to read all of this. The Lord told Noah, he said, go into the ark and all your household, for I've seen that you are righteous before me. Oh, I do want to read this. He said, I've seen that you are righteous before me. Have you ever heard that God said that Noah took 2 of every animal? He took 2 of every animal. Did you know that it wasn't just 2 of every animal? Go with the next line. Because that's how we hear Noah, 2 by 2, they went into the ark. He said, take with you, how many? 7 pairs of all clean animals. 7 pairs. They took 2. But it was actually 14. 7 times 2. How many that is? Ain't that 14? Oh, okay. I thought it was. So it wasn't 2 by 2. It was 14. So he took 7 pairs of all clean animals, male and his mate, and a pair of the animals that are not clean, the male and his mate. So all them that were clean were how many? And them that were unclean. Oh, y'all got some education. Y'all can multiply. Oh, yes, Jesus. I love it. All right, y'all following with me. All right. So can you imagine that a destruction is coming? God gives you a select few to reach out to bring with you. And everybody couldn't go with you on this level. But here's another thing. Noah couldn't go to the next level alone. Have you ever heard somebody say, I don't need nobody but me and Jesus? Just me and the Lord. If I got God, that's all I need. Oh, and my wife. Yeah, or my husband. The devil is a lie. Noah didn't just get on the boat with his wife. You need people. Everybody understand that. You need people. Run from church, run from God, run from whatever if you want to. You're going to get out there and you're going to be stuck on stupid. Listen, you need people. Everybody understand that. Noah, he could not go to the next level alone. There were people on assignment to be connected to him for such a time as this. You are in the Noah season. You got to be connected to people that's going to get you all the way together.
Come on.
That's going to get your ark all the way together.
That's good.
That's going to get your boat all the way together. Get out there in the wild if you want to, thinking you got it. I just need Jesus and my little family. Oh, okay. Tell me how that work out for you. Okay? Let me know how that work out for you. I need a follow-up in 3 months. Okay? Let me know, because I'm curious. I'm asking for a friend. Now, I said, now, Noah had to be a little upset. In my head, I just be thinking like, God, Noah had to be a little mad with you for that. Why? Because according to Genesis 5, Noah had to leave some more folk behind that he really, really loved. Like Methuselah fathered Lamech. Lamech was Noah's father, but it said in turn Lamech became the father of Noah, and Lamech fathered other sons and daughters, right? So Lamech had other children besides Noah, and he also had grandparents, parents, aunts, and uncles, brothers, and sisters. Now, his daddy died a week before the flood, and his brother died before his daddy. But he had other brothers and sisters that were still left. So here's the thing. Noah couldn't even take his brother or his sisters on the boat. Grandma, granddaddy. But why? Because that was not what God said. We are in 2 times. Y'all understand this prophetically. We are in a time and a season of Noah, and we're in a time and season of Lot.
Yeah, I agree.
You got to understand prophetically here on earth, we are in the same time and season as Noah and Lot.
Right.
Watch this. Here's the difference between a Noah and a Lot. Noah, God gave Noah specific instructions of who to take with him. Noah was obedient. God gave Lot specific instructions of who to take with him. Lot was disobedient.
Wow. You right. All right, Pastor Trish.
Who did Lot take? He took a Lot with him. It was his nephew. What that boy name? What my scholars said. Who did? Lot took a Lot. Abraham. Abraham took a Lot. That's who it was. So we're in the same time and season as that. And God said, this is who you need to stay connected to. Don't connect, disconnect. But one of them was disobedient and the other one was obedient. The other one was obedient and found so much favor. And the other one, y'all know with Lot, there was a lot of headache and problems and all this stuff that Abraham had to go through because he took a Lot with him. Now, listen, let's look at this also. The ark, that big boat that Noah built, is a prophetic sign. Everybody follow me. The ark is a prophetic picture of your life. Say, it's my life. It's my life. It's my life. It's my life. Listen, the ark is a prophetic sign of your life. You see, our lives are the vessels that God is using for his purpose, right? So when you look at the ark, you can't look at the ark like it's a boat. You think it's a boat, but Noah was actually building his life. Oh, come on, y'all. Think about it. Noah was building his life. He was actually building his future. Noah was building his salvation for troubled times. Noah was building what others couldn't even seem to understand. They was like, what is this dude doing? Noah was building something that everybody couldn't connect with. He was building something that required patience. He was building something that required diligence. He was building something that required focus and direction from God. Noah was building hope.
Wow, that's good.
For another day.
Wow, that's good.
Man, that ark listen, Noah was built, watch this, that ark Noah was building next level for him and his family, and his next level required crazy faith.
Wow.
That ark represented next level for his family, but it also represented crazy faith. Are you building crazy faith in your ark right now in this season? Are you building crazy faith? Because God said, I need me a Noah. I'm just saying. Is anybody in here building on crazy faith? I'm looking for a Noah, says the Lord. Some of us, instead, you keep building your faith and working on your faith. You got to empower your faith. Watch this. God gave me this nugget. He said, while everybody else is distracted with worldly things, you're focused on that God thing that's going to lead to the big thing. While everybody else is focused on worldly things, you got to focus on the godly thing that's going to lead to the big thing. God is saying, keep building Noah. The world is entertaining devils. You crushing the head of the devil.
Come on.
Come on, somebody. The world is entertaining devils, but you have to crush the head of the devil anytime he show up in your house. You have to crush the head of the devil. You can't entertain the devil. Where my Noah's at? That's what the Lord is saying. Keep building Noah. He said, I need a Noah who will build on faith and not on fear. Wow. I need a Noah who will build on faith and not on insecurities. Wow. He said, keep building, Noah, because if you keep building, you're going to experience manifestation of what you're building on. He said, when you build on something, you give it strength. You give it stability. He said, watch what you give strength to.
Come on.
When you build on something, you give it strength and you give it stability. Watch what you're building on. Because whatever you're building on, you're giving it strength. Noah kept building despite looking foolish to everybody around him. God is saying, I need me a Noah. Here's some lessons I'm going to drop on you real quick that we can learn from Noah. Lesson number 1. Y'all ready? In Genesis 6:14, the top part of that, it says, so make yourself an ark. Lesson number 1, we are responsible to build life. We are responsible to build. I'm going to say that again. We are responsible to build. It said Genesis 6, God said to Noah, so make yourself an ark. That means we are responsible to build. Life is not about stumbling into purpose. It's about building purpose. See, Noah didn't have a lumber company that he could just go. He didn't have a Bass Pro Shop where he could say, I'll take that boat right there. He didn't have that around him. He was responsible for building his purpose. You are responsible for building your purpose. God did not supernaturally make an ark appear. Noah had to rely on the strength of God to build the ark. Lesson number 2. Genesis 6:15. This is how you are to build. This lesson right here, this lets me know when he said this is how you are to build, God will let you know when you're right and when you're wrong. He'll let you know if you're using the wrong tools and when you're working with the right ones. He told Noah, he said, Noah, this is how you build. You got to make sure in this season that you're building with the right tools, because God will look at you and say, no, that is not what I told you. That attitude right there is not the right tools that you got to build with in this season. That fear right there, that's not the right tool to build this art, baby. You got to get rid of fear. You got to get rid of insecurity. You got to get rid of doubt. You got to get rid of your attitude. He said, build with the right tools. Because you think you're using the right tools, but instead of building it up, it's tearing it down. Come on, somebody. You are not called to tear the ark down. You're called to tear the ark up. Oh, come on, y'all. You are not called to tear the ark down. He said, build with the right tools. What tools are you using in this hour? But you say you want a blessing, but this is what you're doing. You say you want next level, but this is what you're doing. These are the tools that you're using, but you're tearing it down and not building it up. And then you go up to God and be like, well, God, what had happened? He said, this is what I told you. He said, I told you to watch your mouth. I told you to build with this. I told you not to say that, but you did it anyway. And you're tearing the ark up. You're tearing it up with fear. Well, God, I just don't know. I'm so scared. I'm so nervous. You're tearing it up with insecurity. You're tearing it up with low self-esteem. You're tearing it up. You're tearing it up. You're tearing it up. God said, that ain't how I told you to build. That is not how I told you to build. You ever heard of nacho fries? Them nacho tools, okay? Them nacho tools. That is not what God told you to do. Y'all call it? Okay, nacho fries, Taco Bell, them nacho tools, God. Okay? So if them nacho tools, why are you using them? Because it ain't worked in the years before, but you think it's gonna work this year?
Come on.
What changed? What happened? How is it gonna work this year when it didn't work all them other years? Them nacho tools. They don't sell at Taco Bell, okay? They don't sell. Listen, number 3. You got to build with the right tools. God, well, before we go to number 3, God was so specific with Noah. If you read the story, he gave him so many nails and so many hammers and so many boards and so many this and inches of that. And then he was so specific. Noah had to use a certain type of wood and he had to do all of these things. God gave us gifts to use and not to store on the shelf.
Come on.
Many of us are not using the tools because you want them to sit on the shelf and look cute. And be like, you got to go to people and be like, can I use you? You know, you got this on the shelf. It's pretty and everything, but can we use it? Like, is it just supposed to sit on the shelf and look cute? Like, God is saying, I didn't give you gifts to put on a shelf.
Come on. Come on.
What are you doing? You using more gifts out there for the world than you are for God. He said, that is not what I called you to do. Build your ark.
That's good.
It's a holy ark unto the Lord. The Lord is saying, I'm calling my Noahs for such a time as this to use your tools. Stop looking at them and sit pretty on the shelf. Yeah, man, I got this for a rainy day, and I got this one for a snowy day, and I got this one for a good day. Y'all playing with God. Lesson number 3. We go to Genesis 6:19 through 20. He said, you are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird, every kind of animal, and every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come to you to be kept alive. That last line, that's my lesson. They will come where? To you. My Lord, today. Listen. God will provide as you build. Come on, somebody. Noah was instructed to build. He was instructed to use all these gifts, all these talents, all these nails, all these boards. He was instructed. And as Noah was building, he was like, listen. He said, listen, they're going to come to you. You ain't got to go and find them. He said, blessings are going to come to you. And they're going to chase you down. Why? Because you're building how I tell you to build. He said, they're going to come to you. He ain't got to go find 7 pairs of 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, and that's 14, and then that's 2 of y'all. Y'all ain't clean. He didn't have to go and seek the blessings. The blessings came to him.
That's good. That's good.
He didn't have to seek them because he was already in obedience to God. He was using all his tools. He wasn't letting his tools sit on the shelf. He wasn't doing it. He was about his Father's business.
Yeah. All right.
So lesson number 3, God gonna provide. All you gotta do is do what he told you to do.
Yeah.
You gotta be that man. You gotta be that woman. You gotta do what he told you to do. You and I have to first step out. Then God will bring the provision. The 2/3 of God's name is what? Go. 2/3. 2/3 of God's name. go. That's more than half of his name is go.
All right.
More than half of God's name is go. Meaning that he's a go God. He's a go getter. He go hard or he go home. God is a go hard God.
Come on.
His mentality is go. He's sitting at you looking like, why is you still on the bench? Noah, why you? I need me a Noah that's going to build. I ain't trying to look for a Noah that's sitting on the bench looking at other folk build.
Come on, come on.
Where you at, Noah?
Come on.
God said, I'm confused. What you doing?
Right.
And then he said, God, it was so funny. God said, I just need you to do what I said. Listen, Abraham was in a horrible situation where he had to sacrifice his son. But he went anyway. And the ram didn't show up until after Abraham went. Catch that in a minute. Abraham was called to sacrifice his son. He didn't want to do it, I'm sure, but he was obedient to God. And he was getting ready to do it. God was like, listen, all I needed you to do was go.
Wow.
And I was going to provide along the way.
Good.
But first, you got to go. So, yeah, it was an uncomfortable situation, but he did what he had to do. God provided the ram after Abraham passed the test. Lesson number 4. Genesis 6:21. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for you. Where's my scripture? You store it away for food for you and for them. The next thing is you have to prepare for the future. When you're building an ark, you got to prepare for the future. So God said, take every kind of food and store it away. Noah had to store food in advance for his family and for the animals. Come on, somebody. He didn't have to just feed his family. He had to feed them animals on the boat too. He said, God told him to prepare. He said, watch this. Only those who prepare in advance will be ready when the flood comes.
That's good.
Success is when preparation meets up with opportunity. Remember, it wasn't raining when Noah built the ark.
That's right.
He prepared the ark in advance. If he would have waited until the rain came, he would have got flooded with everybody else. And so God is saying, you got to understand that you got to be preparing now. When I released that word 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I said a famine is coming to the land. That was a prophetic warning to store up. To store up. God will always give you warning before the flood. But it's up to the Noahs to receive the warning and to do what God has called them to do. Next lesson that we learn from Noah. In Genesis 7:4-6, it says, 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. And Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came on the earth. Now, this is where my next one came from. He was 600 years old when the flood waters came. That meant that he worked for over 100 years. So the next lesson is, be patiently patient. You are building something. You got to be patient. You got to be patient as you're building. You are building next level. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be tedious. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to require transition. It's going to require transition mentally, emotionally, relationally. It's going to require a lot. But God is saying only those that are patient to the end will win. Patient until the end. So what am I saying to you? Let's make this plain. Number 1, don't miss the boat. You can miss the boat if you don't build the boat. What is God telling you to build in this hour? Are you missing the boat? Because when you miss the boat, you're missing your life. You're missing your next level. You're missing the promises. Don't miss the boat. The next thing I'm going to break down, you got to stay faithful. When you're 60 years old, God may ask you to do something big. When you're 50 years old, God may ask you to do something big. You got to stay faithful. Noah was over 400 and something years old when God told him to build the boat. So just because God ain't asked you to do nothing big now, don't mean it ain't coming.
Oh, that's good.
You got to stay faithful so you can hear him first.
That's right.
And then when he say it, you got to do it. The third thing, don't listen to critics. Just get on the job that needs to be done.
That's
because
good.
everybody not going to understand your boat. Everybody not going to understand it. They not going to, it's confusing. I don't understand. Bro, I ain't never seen no water before. This thing you call water, we ain't never seen it before. Is it a reality? You know what say it's going to be one? Because I am preparing for it. And if you are not preparing for what God is about to do, you're going to miss God. We're in a time and season of Noah. You should be storing up. You should be stocking up. I gave a word about water, how there was going to be a shortage of water. You should be storing up water. You should be stocking up this, storing up that, because things are happening and they're happening fast. Don't listen to critics. Do what you're supposed to be doing in this hour. Do what you're supposed to be doing in this hour. Number 4, speed isn't always an advantage. The snails were on board with the cheetahs. Catch that? The snails, they were on the board with on the boat with the cheetahs. So it's not about I gotta do it, and I gotta do it fast because I gotta see all this money, and I gotta have all of this, and I gotta be married by this time, and I gotta have children by this time. And then now we hustling now. It ain't up to God no more, it's up to us, because in our mind it's gotta be done by a certain time, and so we trying to hurry and get it done, but Noah didn't hurry to build an ark. Because if he would have missed something, the boat wouldn't have been able to float. So it's not about speed, it's about just doing the work. The next one, remember, the ark was built by amateurs who were simply faithful to God. The Titanic was built by professionals. That's a Selah moment. The ark was built by amateurs. The Titanic was built by professionals. So as long as you faithful, as long as you trusted God, as long as you listening, God got you. And last, no matter the storm, when you're with God, there's always a rainbow waiting on you if you're faithful.
That's good.
There's always going to be a rainbow. And I'm going to end with this. In Luke 17:26. We are in some hard and trying times. And you got to understand the times, the signs of the times. It says, and as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be also in the days of the Son of Man, which is now. They ate, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage to the day that Noah entered the ark. They paid no attention to what God was saying, to what God was doing. They didn't want to be in God's presence. Noah could build the ark, talk to God all day. I'm going to do me. I'm going to handle my business. So they did all of that. Till the day that Noah entered the ark. And the flood came and destroyed all of them. Next. Likewise, as it was also in the days of Lot. They ate, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. Lot was, during some very perverse times, homosexuality was hit an uproar. Where are we at today? We're in the same time and season. But on the day that Lot went out, Lot said, I ain't doing this. I can't be around y'all. God said, cut it off. On the day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even so, will it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed? We are in that time, in that season. And if you're looking at the world and all the little challenges and everything that they're doing, all the drop it low, drop it high, do this, do that, new age drugs, new age this, new age that, all the perversion. Oh, y'all thought Sodom and Gomorrah was bad? Where we are today, right now, is 100,000 times worse. Sodom and Gomorrah was very perverse. The world right now is extremely perverse. Kids are seeing things and doing things at ages that when we were their age, we would never have fathomed. Like, couldn't even imagine it happening. Because things are worse. But God is saying, I'm looking for a Noah. In the midst of all that's going on, that will build for me. That will build my kingdom. That will stand for righteousness. And turn away from foolishness. And focus on what God is saying. God is saying it's time to build for his glory. And stop letting the enemy play with your mind. Play with your family. Play with your kids and all of that stuff. Stop playing with the enemy. If you say that's me, I'm ready, God. I'm a Noah that you're looking for. Stand to your feet. We're going to pray. Because God is saying, I need a Noah. I need me a Noah. I need me a Noah that will build. I need me a Noah that will hear my voice and follow my instructions. I need me a Noah that will, when everybody else going astray, you're going to stay focused. You're going to use your gifts and your talents to build kingdom. I need me a Noah, says the Lord. And when we go out in those marketplaces, we're not looking like the world and sounding like the world. But we're helping the world get delivered and free. So we need to ask God to strengthen us because it's hard out there. It's hard out there. I'm not telling you it's easy. If it was easy, the harvest and the laborers would be plenty as the harvest. But the Bible says the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. So God is looking for a Noah.